Hi there. Welcome to your yoga practice. Our time together today is going to be really focused on more functional movement. That's where the inspiration comes from. A lot of dynamic movement as well. So it's kind of like this hybrid between yoga and functionality. No real props for this one. A bolster or blanket might be nice for the end of our time together if you want to support yourself a little bit more, but not necessary if you don't have it. And as we begin, I want you to lie down, knees bent, feet to your mat, heel toe your feet a little bit wider, arms open up, and take that windshield wiper of your knees, your shins side to side. And I know that we do this often, but it's a great way to work into your hips, your low back, right? As you take your thighs side to side, one being an external rotation, the other internal rotation. And it's really important to be able to move both ways. And we'll revisit this windshield wiper, the shape, just change the relationship to gravity throughout our time here. So just starting to build these neurological pathways, getting your body a little bit more comfortable and in tune with how it's going to move. Balance out your sides, pause in the middle, and let's focus on the breath. The breath being such an integral component, a way to support you throughout your practice. Notice how you're breathing. No need to change or manipulate or force. But see if you can start to slow the breath a little fuller, a little bit more expansive, just through this simple process of awareness. And there's no specific way to breathe for this time, but really finding a rhythm that works for you today. Give a little heel toe of your feet to hip width. It's your figure four, right ankle on top of your left thigh. Grab for your left thigh or shin. Pull your figure four formation closer to your torso. It's not too long, right? We're just easing into the right glute, the outer hip a little bit more, as that added space will serve us here very shortly. And then just switch of the legs. Figure four on the second side, left ankle on top of your right thigh. Grab for your right thigh as you pull that figure four in. Some ease in the shoulders, maybe that open mouth release at some point if it comes over you. And as you release that figure four, maybe it's a happy baby, a symmetrical hip opener, a happy baby variation, simply a hug of your knees in towards your chest, a gentle sway, a rock side to side, giving yourself a little back massage. Good. Give yourself a few more moments here to just literally roll around on your mat a little bit. This is like my favorite thing to do. Okay. Hug your knees in, grab for the backs of your thighs, rock it forward and back to find a seat. That's it, just a seat. And similar to how we did lying down, bring your hands behind you so that there's a little bit of a lean back in your torso. Feet wider than hip width, so say about the width of your mat. And then take your knees over to the left, exhale this windshield wiper motion. So left thigh external rotation, right thigh internal. Inhale, take it back to center. Exhale, take your knees to the right. And just testing things out, this different relationship to gravity. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, back to the midline. Exhale, right. A few more on your own. Take it at your own pace. And we're going to add on. Right, if only it were this simple. Next time your knees are to the left, pause there. Sit a little bit more upright. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Inhale, press your right hip forward. Little squeeze of your glutes, some glute activation. More space in the front of the right hip, that internal rotation. Exhale, set your seat back down. 2 more times. Inhale, a lift, a press, a squeeze. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, set your right glute down. Inhale, center with your knees. Exhale, take your knees to the right. And you sit a little bit more upright now. It's your left hand to your left hip. Press your hip forward. Find that squeeze of your glute. Space across the front of your left hip. Exhale, set it down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And 1 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, set your left hip down. Inhale, center. So now it gets a little bit more interesting. Exhale, take your knees to the left. Connect your palms in front of your heart. See if you can keep your hands there and not use your hands. Inhale, take your knees to the middle. Exhale, over to the right. You might scooch forward. It's all good. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. So moving around like this, inhale to the midline, exhale right. Take a few more. Requires hip space as well as stability. You're working from your core, your center. Let's go one more like this. I'm going to reorient myself so I'm facing you. And then we're again going to add on. But that invitation to stay right here, this could be enough today. Inhale, center. Exhale as you take your knees to the left. Maybe you stand up on your knees, your shins, finding that press of your hips forward. Exhale, set your hips back down. Inhale to the middle with your knees. Exhale off to the right. Inhale, maybe you stand on the knees, the shins. I always get a hip click, a pop. Exhale, set your seat back down. Inhale, center. Keep going side to side. And again, you might find that you scoot forward. You might find that one side is a little bit easier than the other, or maybe both sides just suck. That's okay too. This is a really great way to find space as well as strength. If your knees are sensitive, maybe you do this on a more carpeted floor. Give me two more each side. Oof. You're still breathing here. As you balance out this last round each side, we'll do this as gracefully as possible, but you'll take your knees right back to the middle. Feet are still wider than hip width, so I actually need my hands to help me up. We're going to transition to a malasana. If you could rock it forward without using your hands, good on you. Or with just a press of your hands, lift your booty up off of your mat. Slight turn out of your toes. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears. Find length in your spine, that draw up through the crown of your head. Unhinge your jaw. You are active in your feet. Your inner arches lift. And if you find that this is not agreeable on your knees, you can always raise your heels. Maybe you elevate your hips a little bit higher, or sometimes grabbing for that blanket, right, or rolling up the edge of your yoga mat and slide that underneath your heels. That could be a really nice in between. But we're here for, let's give it 8 more rounds of breath. And know that you're never stuck. There could be a gentle rock, a sway. In fact, I encourage you to maneuver around a little bit, as that will give you kind of this opportunity to work into the nooks, the crannies. We get very linear in yoga, so sometimes it's nice to kind of work outside of those lines, maybe explore something that's a little less familiar, as it builds those neurological pathways, really great for the brain. Final moment here. And then it's your forward fold. Exhale, lower your fingertips, straighten your legs. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Maybe it's that open mouth sigh. If you want a ragdoll sway here, it's available to you. Okay. Eventually release your fingertips down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, rise, upward salute. Take a standing back bend. Exhale, bend your elbows, cactus your arms, a big lift in your heart, just flushing that out, all that deep flexion. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha. Iron out your spine. Exhale, fold over your legs. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, stand tall, arms high. So you're standing back bend. Exhale, bend your elbows, cactus your arms. Inhale, reach high. One more time through. Exhale, forward fold, this modified half sunny. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, upward salute. Exhale, bend your elbows, that gold post shape. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, connect your palms in front of your heart. Take a big breath in. It's a clearing breath out. Inhale, reach high, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And depending on where you're positioned in your mat, exhale, you'll make your way to your downward facing dog, whether that means you walk your hands forward or you step your feet back. Just do so with intention, with integrity. Feel free to move around a little bit in this downward facing dog, or maybe a paddle to your legs, a sway of your hips. Nod of your head, yes. A shake, no. It could be your open mouth sigh. Good. And eventually set your knees down for your table pose. A few cats and cows. Lower your navel, inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, cat, press into your hands, round into your spine. Inhale, take it back to your cow. A few more on your own. It could be simple, your cats, your cows. You can also change it up, that circle of your hips or roll of your head. Any sort of freeform movement. Okay, this is like one of those little yoga pockets. So just moving through your body a little bit. And then we meet back in a neutral table. From here, exhale, sit your hips back towards your heels. So you're sitting on the knees, the shins. I want you to just practice standing up on your knees, your shins. Inhale. Exhale, you lower back down. A little bit of glute, hamstring work. Inhale's a lift up, a soft press of your hips forward. Exhale, you lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's add on after this round. Exhale, lower. Hands to your hips. That'll be a little bit more stable. And as you lift your hips, step your right foot forward. Exhale and take a big lunge. And again, it's active, dynamic. Your knee can go beyond the heel as long as there's no discomfort in your knee. And then you step it back, slide your right knee and shin back, lower your hips to your heels. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Take a big lunge. Inhale, lift out of it. Exhale, slide your shin, foot back, hips to your heels. Inhale, lift up. Right leg, step it forward. Take your lunge, any depth. Inhale, back out. Exhale, find your seat. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, step your left foot forward, lunge. Inhale, lift out. Exhale, hips to heels. Take a few more like this, kind of working with the midline of your mat initially. And the depth to your lunge can change out each time. We're also working the legs as well, right? It's not just a matter of finding space, but there's also stability and strength happening. And now we're going to kind of paint outside of the lines. So rather than just stepping your foot forward, what happens when you step your foot out to the side and take that lunge? Yeah, it's like this opportunity to get really creative with how you move your body. So a few of these out wide lunge steps. Oh. And then an invitation to integrate the arms. When you step your right foot forward, anywhere along that spectrum, what happens when you reach your left arm diagonally to the right? Oh, back it off. Find your seat, left leg forward. Take that diagonal reach with your right arm to the left. Good. And just like you might start to get a little creative with where you're stepping, you can also get creative with your reach. Right foot forward. Maybe it's a side bend, left arm up and over to the right. Oh, reach high, right? If you find a spot that's really interesting, you can always stay there a little bit longer. You keep going. And you can get super creative with the arms. Give your arms a pause. Maybe you go same arm, same leg. What happens when you reach your left arm to the left as you step your left leg forward? Right arm to the right as you step your right leg forward and off to the side. There's no right or wrong. Maybe it's a reach with both arms forward. I want you to get super creative and explore, right, all those kind of spots in your body. And freedom to move the arms any which way. Not too much longer. Let's say like 5 more each side. And trust me, my legs are tired too. But it also like feels so good. At least I think it does. Sound effects always welcome. If you're working at the same pace as me, you're probably down to about the last 2 each side. And once you finish up, just that moment to sit and breathe, essentially where that all began. Notice if there's any energy moving, a buzz, a whirl. Maybe it's that open mouth sigh. One more down dog for me. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, hips high. Again, whatever you want this down dog to be. Stillness or movement. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Knees or no knees, lower chaturanga to your belly. 3 wide arm cobra variations. Press down into the tops of your feet. Walk your hands off of your mat, lifting up to your fingertip pads. Inhale, lift your chest. Keep your chest lifted. Exhale, bring your shoulder blades together. Now pull your heart forward. Inhale. Exhale, lower release. 2 more. To the rhythm of your breath. Inhales that lift. Engage your lats. Exhale. Heart forward, forward, forward. Inhale. Lower release. Last one. It's unhurried. Take your time. This wave-like movement through your spine. Good. And then just stack your palms. Rest your elbows wide. Give your hips a little bit of a waggle, a shake. And then with the help of your hands, press it back to your child's pose. Glide your hips back towards your heels, maybe even a little sway, a little rock as you settle in. And it's our Kamalujasana. You stand on your knees or shins. Toes can be tucked or untucked, your preference. Knees underneath your hips, your inner thighs drop back. We've created a lot of space. We've done some twisting. Reach through the arms to open up the chest. Hug in through your center, your waistline. Roll your shoulder heads back. A big lift of your heart. Inhale. And as you glance up, this can be enough. Or on your exhale, feel free to take this to any depth that serves you. But you're lifting even the back of your heart. Feel that tone in your lower abdomen to support your lumbar spine. And then you're breathing fuller. Return your hands to your low back as needed. Inhale, carefully rise. Exhale, hips to your heels. Give yourself that moment to pause, to breathe. Recalibrate after that big heart opening expression. And then shift your hips to either side. Bring your legs in front of you. And take that little windshield wiper motion once again of your knees, your hips, side to side. Just flush that out. And then pause with your knees to the left. So it's a 90-90 position in your legs. Your left shin is parallel to the top of your mat, 90-degree bend in your knee. Right shin is parallel to the side of your mat. Obviously, I'm oriented a little bit different on my mat space, but both feet are flexed. Bring your hands behind you and just lean back a little bit, focusing on that internal rotation, opening up the front of the right hip a little bit more. It'll be about a 30-second hold here. This sensation may not be like a ton, but especially if you sit a lot, this can be a really great way to counter all that desk sitting. Let's give it a few more moments here. Then as you sit upright, face over your left shin initially forward. And then you will turn your torso to the left and lower down to your forearms. If you have those extra props, a bolster, a blanket, a pillow to support yourself, this might be an opportunity to rest your torso onto that prop. You can either stack your palms, rest your forehead onto your hands, or maybe test out turning your head one direction or the other. It's your choosing, whichever variation feels more comfortable on your neck. And then it's about a minute hold. I'm going to stopwatch it so that we have equal amount of time on both sides. Working the hips, deep rotation in the spine. And a lot of that functional dynamic movement can kind of sneak up on you in terms of the effort that it requires, especially if you're moving your body in a different way. So just allowing yourself to soften, to settle in here. Not too much longer on this side. Give me about 3 more rounds of breath. It's unhurried, but as you begin your transition out, press down into your hands, lift your torso, unwind as you face forward, bring your knees to center, take a little flush, a windshield wiper. Yep, and then we'll do all of that on the second side. So it's your 90-90 with the right shin parallel. I'll face the front of my mat this time so you've got a different angle to your visual. Left shin is parallel to the side of your mat. Find that 90-degree bend in both knees. And then you're going to lean back, working on the front of the left hip now. And keep the feet flexed. Notice if this side maybe offers something a little different. We're not typically symmetrical. I know for myself, I get a little bit more congested on the left side. Then you just breathe. Okay. Walk your hands in to lift your torso face forward over your right shin. Then from there, turn your torso to the right. You lower down to your forearms. Maybe you grab for those props. Again, not important. You can always stack your hands, rest your forehead onto your hands, test out the direction of your gaze, and then settle on the one that feels just right in this moment. And then there'll be equal amount of time on the second side. And the tendency being for the mind to wander in the quiet moments. I encourage you to be really curious about what's happening in your body. And maybe you make a scan from the bottoms of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. See if moving this way may have opened something up, wakened something up in your body. And even just noticing where there's resistance, stagnation, using this sense of awareness as well as your breath to soften and find a sense of ease. Just a few more moments of quiet on the second side. As you press into your hands, inhale, lift your torso, unwind to face forward. Last time, flush out your hips, your windshield wiper. And then we'll take one more symmetrical seated forward fold. Legs out to the side, your Uttanasana Konasana. Legs are still active. You flex your feet, press your heels down, toes point up, or maybe it's a floint. Think of dragging your heels energetically towards your hips. Lengthen through your spine. Inhale, exhale. Maybe you start to hinge and fold forward any amount. can lower down to your forearms. If you're using props, again, maybe that can support your forehead. We'll give it about a minute here as well. Hip opener, hamstrings, lengthen the spine, all the things. And at this point in our practice, since we are approaching the end, see if you can make the exhale a little longer, a little fuller, as it's the breath out that's calming, cooling on the nervous system. The exhale energetically represents releasing, letting go. So with each breath out, this opportunity to practice a little bit of surrender. Maybe you find some ease, some space. It's unforced. And it's more that letting go. And as you press into your hands, inhale, lift your torso. I'm going to bring the legs in. And as we wrap up this practice, if you'd like a Shavasana, I encourage you to take it. Maybe it's just a few moments here to sit and breathe in an effort to honor this time together. Let's take at least one last shared breath. Empty out to the bottom. Fill up on your inhale. Open mouth sigh. Thank you for sharing your energy, your practice. Namaste.